What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Master Whiskey Room. How you doing, everybody? Glad to be back here on Wednesday night. Glad to be hanging out with you. I am back from New York. Forgive me if my New York accent's a little bit thicker tonight than it normally is. I was there for 2 weeks with my friends and stuff, so I was talking and yelling with my mother, my grandmother. So it was a lot of fun. But glad to be back. Hope you guys had an amazing holiday and an amazing New Year. I definitely did. Had a great time in New York. I got real lucky doing some whiskey hunting. I got to spend some time with the family. It was a good time. It was definitely a good time. Let me see here. Oh, Whiskey Crusaders in the house. Let me go into the chat and say hi to you guys. I got to tell you, I missed you guys so much. When I was there for 2 weeks, back in New York, and I wasn't really able to do a live stream from there, being that Wednesday nights was actually, it was Christmas Day, it was New Year's Day, so just how it worked out this year, or last year, I should say. So yeah, I could not wait to get home and do this live stream tonight with you guys. So thanks for coming in, thanks for hanging out, thanks for all of you for such great positive feedback I had on my Whiskey of the Year video. I don't know why I always kind of get that one kind of, I don't know. It makes me nervous every year I do that one. I've only done 2, but I remember both times I did it, it just kind of was I don't know, just it kind of gave me a little bit of agita. So let's go into the chat. Let's say hi to everybody. Of course, we have the Wrench started off tonight. Trev Wilson, what's going on, man? The Bourbon Buddies were here earlier too. Robot Scott, how you doing, Scotty? Christopher David, Mike Meyer, Steve A, Tom R, One Lost Causes in the house. How you doing, man? Jim Muller, Happy New Year. Spencer Mav is here. Let's see. Working my way down here. Bourbon Sane, Chris, how you doing, man? Feel better. The poor bastard cannot kick his cold or a flu. Arthur Lopez from Texas coming in. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming in. Monroe Doctrines here. We also have, let's see, Tony Nelson's in the house. Nicholas Villaggio, Zeb Taylor's here. Scotty from My Bourbon Journey, what is up, buddy? Wildlife and Whiskey. Scary Peeper. Chad Wallace is here. How you doing? The Bourbon Junkies in the house. What is up, Junkies? OG Brick 420. Bourbon Junkies, I went back. I saw the shit you were talking yesterday, man. We're going to talk about that. Juramal is here. How you doing, buddy? Charles Ashworth is here. Nicholas Villaggio, Joseph Brazo. What's going on, buddy? Halden Kirkwood is here. Brandon Weiss, Andrew Spurrell, Whiskey Straight Out from across the pond. I think I said Nicholas Villaggio. Richie Z, my man from California. How you doing, man? Let's see who else is here. Steven Sussman's in the house. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you. Patrick Fulmer, bonsoir, he writes. Let's see, people drumming. Jason Coates, Karen B. Ford, Whiskey Crusader, that's Maddie. All right, Jimmy Jazz, Peter White, Brian Hoven. Got a bunch of people jumping in here. Thanks for coming in, guys. Like I said, it was a real fun and crazy 2 weeks I was in New York. But happy to be back, happy to get into some amazing whiskey tonight, including the highlight tonight, which is the Elmer T. Lee 100-year tribute, which I got in New York. Kind of a cool story how I got this one, if you guys missed it. It just kind of happened by accident. Well, it wasn't really accident. It was kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure if I got the right price or not, but we'll get into that. We're going to do this blind tonight against Rock Hill Farms and also regular Elmer T. Lee and see how it shakes out. I'm actually just going to throw it into the blind, into a blind. I'm not even going to taste it yet. We are going to crack open Baker 7-year. I found this in New York, the new single barrel version. Going to do a comparison with the old style Bakers, which is right here, the Baker small batch. We'll do a head-to-head tonight of that one in lieu of a review coming up soon. And then we're going to be cracking open, finally, my Weller Full Proof pick came in. This is the Weller Full Proof, my pick I did for Liquor Outlet, also known as the Kracken. There's a close-up of the label I made. So yeah, going to be cracking this one open. And oh yes, samples will be given. So I'm looking forward to sharing this with you guys. So it's going to be a fun night. But first, before we get started, let's kick the night with a dram, guys. What do you think? Let's go into. I'm gonna pour a little bit now. I don't know if you guys remember before I went on vacation. We did this blend, this community blend. All you out there helped me make this blend, and it was it's been sitting down in the whiskey room, so I have no idea how it's been mingling, how it's coming out. So I figured let's give it a try. Let's see what happened to it as I was away. Let's see what it turned into. What are the flavors? Let me know in the chat what you're sipping on. Yeah, Kracken the Kracken. Absolutely. Hey, Scotch for Dummies in the house. What is going on? Is that Drew? I'm not sure if that's Drew. Let's see here. Bourbon Junkie says, dude, that's the greatest sticker I've seen. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that one. Yeah, I had fun making that sticker. For those of you that don't know, I named it the Kracken. Well, we named it the Kracken, the group that chose it because of the, it had like a salty caramel type flavor to it. So we figured we call it the Kracken. The octopus is holding a little barrel in his hand. It's pretty cool. So we'll crack that open a little later, guys. We're going to talk tonight about some of my whiskey, my 2020 predictions. We're going to talk about some of my, if you haven't seen my my Whiskey of the Year video yet, definitely check that out after the live stream. We're going to talk about some of my honorable mentions that were in the running but didn't quite make the top 5 when I did the my blind tasting before I did the selection. So oh shit, Bourbon Junkies comes in with a $10 super chat. Says, I want you to know that's the best sticker I've seen on a bottle. Need to get my hands on some of that. Cheers, buddy. Looking forward to seeing what wins that blind. Oh, cheers, man. Give it up for the Bourbon Junkies. I'm sure you guys know their channel is just fucking exploding. They're doing incredible stuff. So cheers to Dan and Sean. Cheers to you guys. Thanks, man. All right, so the blend. It's the blend. That's crazy. That it tastes like an orange creamsicle. Oh, but then it's got one of those sneaky finishes. Now I'm getting more almond on it. Wow, this did some pretty cool things in here. Let me go for another sip, guys. Cheers out there. Again, let me know what you're sipping in the chat. Wow, that is... I don't know how that happened. It is so orangey. It is so orange, citrus, and cinnamon. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Old Granddad 114 a little bit. It's got like this spice to it and like this kind of really big like orangey, citrusy type thing going on. It's really nice. But then it's got this lingering kind of finish going on where all of a sudden it just like pow, it hits you with vanilla, almond, and cinnamon. More cinnamon on the finish. It takes a second though. It has like a delay on it and then it just kind of hangs out. It's very, very crazy. But so far so good. That's going to be a damn good blend. I like it. Yeah, that is an orange bomb. So cool, guys. Any of you in the chat or anybody that's watching that wants to try some of this, shoot me an email. You can email me at, you can email me here at themashanddrum@gmail.com. And if you want to try a sample this, let me know. Bourbon Sane comes over to Super Chat, says, awesome Whiskey of the Year episode. Obviously, everyone here needs to watch if you haven't already. I'm sipping Pedialyte. Very good, man. Chad Wallace says, do you still have the list of what's in it? I have it written down somewhere, but I don't have it in front of me. But I'll have to, once I break it down, I'll put it up there again. Hey, Brent from the Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews is in the house. How you doing, Brent? Thanks for coming in, man. I don't know if you guys saw these. I made some blooper reels when people were doing super chats. So I'll show you one of them here. Thanks for the super chat. Released in November 2019, this offering coincides with the 100th anniversary of the enactment. Try that again. So if I got a super chat tonight, I'll show you some more bloopers that I made before I left for Christmas. You can see like when I'm kind of doing the when I'm recording my episodes, you can see when I completely just like fuck it up. So let's see here. Who do we got? Let's see. Bourbon saying that was brutal, man. Oh yeah, definitely drink some Pedialyte. Oh, who do we got? Oh, we got Whiskey Throttle in the house. What is up, Daniel? Thanks for coming in, you jabroni. Miss you, buddy. I caught his live stream. He had a quick live stream. I wish you'd do more, man. I miss you. Hey, Emily Chambers is here. How you doing, Emily? Nice to see you. Whiskey to Success is here. Oh, Whiskey to Success. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before. If you're new, thanks for coming in. Whiskey to Success. Love the name. Donald Rance is in house. My Irish Whiskey Yoda. Thanks for coming in. Here's another blooper for you. The 100th anniversary of the enactment of the Volstead Act, which ended up being prohibition. It's today's review. Oh, God. All right. So, first things first, guys. Real quick, I want to say thanks to, I got a couple of new Patreons this week. Brian Johnson, Aaron Berry, I want to call out. Logan Captis. I also just got another couple. I just got another one. Patrick Fulmer. Just went from a beginner drummer to a casual drummer. Thanks for upgrading it, buddy. I really appreciate it. If you think about becoming a Patreon, this is the year to do it, guys. So what I'm going to be doing this year for all my patrons, I'm going to be giving away a bottle of whiskey, 1 bottle per month. So if you're a Patreon, you're already entered. My January bottle I'm going to be giving away to one of my lucky Patreons is a bottle of the Michter's Toasted Sour Mash. So I'm going to be giving that away this coming January, one of my Patreon-only live sessions, drum sessions. And then I'm going to be giving away a bottle a month for the entire year. So should have some cool stuff in there. So yeah, if you're thinking about becoming a Patreon, guys, this is the year to do it. So all right, so let's go into let's pour something else first here. What should I pour? Actually, you know what? I'm going to crack this open. So, this was sent to me from the Bourbon Junkies. This is an Eagle Rare store pick from Jana's Market. They were kind enough to send me an Eagle Rare store pick. I got actually a few Eagle Rare store picks. These are all picks. All you guys really kind of answered the call when I said I couldn't find any store picks. Robot Scott sent me one. Brian Brennicky, Bourbon Junkies. I found one in New York. So I got a lot of Eagle Rare store picks to try now. So thanks so much, guys. So let's crack this open, and then we're going to get into my whiskey predictions for 2020. Let's see how this one is. I have not tried this one yet. Hey, Captain Make It Happens in the house. He's talking about Malort. I don't even want to know what conversation that is. Charles Ashworth says maybe I'll give away the Elmer 100. Yeah, fat chance. I'll be giving away samples of it. We got Arthur Lopez coming in with a $4.99 super chat. He says, I'm not surprised about the blend being like OGD. A lot of beam in there and plenty of elder barrel-proof bourbons. Good to see you back, Jason. Good to see you back, Arthur. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, there was a lot of beam that went into that, so it is pretty, I could see that now that I remember what was in there. Here's a blooper for you. Then enforce the 18th Amendment after, all right. Wow, this is an oakier Eagle Rare pick that I've had recently. It's pretty oaky, but it's very sweet at the same time. This one is coming through very, a lot of almond. Getting some citrus on here as well. Good amount of cherry too, which is something I tend to pick up in Eagle Rares. But this definitely has a little bit more of a more concentrated nose profile here. So before we take a sip, I wrote down some of my whiskey predictions for 2020. So these are always fun to talk about, the kickoff of a new year. You guys can let me know your thoughts. Love talk with you guys, obviously. So So my first whiskey prediction is more limited releases. That's not really a big prediction, but I feel like the word is out, the secret is out for distilleries. The amount of limited and special releases that came out in 2019 was just insane. And I think we're going to see more of that. I think distilleries have caught on that the average consumer now is willing to pay $75, $100, $150 for a bourbon, and the marketing guys are going to notice that, and they're going to say, okay, well, let's put out this special release, let's put out this special release, let's sell, sell, sell. And hand in hand with that, I think some of the production, with the amount of whiskey that's aging in Kentucky now, is catching up to demand. So they're able to put out some of these special releases, more and more throughout the year. So I do think we're going to see, it's not going to go away. We're going to keep seeing more limited edition releases. And I do think, unfortunately, they're going to be priced at between that $100 and $200 mark, like they all have been doing. But with that said, another prediction I have is some distilleries coming up with a more of a conscious effort to release affordable whiskey. So if you look at what Buffalo Trace is doing with I don't know if you guys have heard about the Benchmark releases. So Benchmark 8 is being re-released with a barrel-proof version and a couple of other special releases that are supposed to be a little bit more affordable. We saw it with Old Forester last year, Woodford Reserve. I think Brown-Forman did a great job with that. I'm hoping to see more of that. I'm hoping some distilleries will see that as maybe a way to differentiate themselves with so many limited editions coming out. Robot Scott's prediction, there will be 4 more new Weller labels. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the Weller labels is just crazy. Like, enough with the Weller labels. I don't want a single barrel. I actually hope that doesn't happen. Whiskey Throttle says off topic, but what is the Whoa, just went away. Hold on. Off topic, but what is the hardest Blanton's letter to get? I think it's the double. What is it? I think it's the N with the 2 dots. I think. I don't know. I always hear that one's kind of a hard one to get. I don't know if other ones have been harder for other people to get, but the ones with the 2 dots on it as the for the second letter, I always hear that that's the hardest one. So I don't know. Could be wrong. Let's see. Here we go. YW says I got a JW Dant yesterday. Not impressed. YW, was it the Bottled and Bond? A lot of people love the Bottled and Bond one. So maybe it's just kind of a different profile for you. Scary Peeper. Yeah, Benchmark 8 will be having a barrel proof. I think they're coming out with a couple of other editions. I don't remember what it was. I saw it a while ago. But those will be kind of cool, affordable ones to get. But again, it's Buffalo Trace. It just seems like everything with them is just super hard to get. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I'm hoping we see more as we go down the line. With that, let's taste some this Eagle Rare pick. Cheers. And thanks again, Bourbon Junkies. That is just a super delicious, sweet, smooth bourbon. That's really good. That's a really nice pick. It's more cherry and almond than I think regular Eagle Rare is to me. This is like almonds with like cherry syrup on top. It's really nice. I know Dan had a sip or two of this one. It's really good. I like this one. All right. All right. Next whiskey prediction. Tamar says Wheatley vodka is easy to get. True. And so is the bourbon cream. I could find the bourbon cream kind of pretty easily too. The Buffalo Trace bourbon cream. Next one is, I think, having a true definition of an American single malt. I think that's going to happen this year. I think it's something that that the whiskey world has been clamoring for. There's enough American single malts being created. Some great ones: Stranahan's, Westland, Wanderback, Virginia Distilling Company is making some great single malts. There's a couple in New York that they're making. I mean, just some. I think it's needed. I think a great standardized you know, a standardized definition or some kind of language to define what it is would be great. I think that would put it or help it a little bit on the map rather than being just kind of this ominous type of whiskey that's made in America. Asking for a Friend is here. How you doing, Asking for a Friend? Nice to see you. Iron Horse Section. I love that BT goes for more than ER around here in Connecticut. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah, that's Eagle Rare is a definite pick over that, easily. Nicholas Villaggio, Little Book 3 for $79. Yeah, let me tell you about Little Book 3. That thing pissed me off because I got it when it first came out. I think it was like 120, 130, 140 bucks, whatever it was. Now I'm seeing people picking it up online for like 80, 60 bucks. I saw somebody got one for like 60 something bucks at Costco. I was like, are you kidding me? For that, I'd buy like 5 of them. It's nuts. It's crazy. Spencer Mapp, hopefully they don't go too strict with the American parameters though. Yeah, I agree. I hope they're able to kind of keep it a little bit looser so they can kind of experiment with different finishes, different types of barrels and wood. Richie Z, what's the distribution on this Weller Antique Single Barrel Harlan Wheatley Select? It's delicious. I have no idea. Weller Antique Single Barrel Harlan Wheatley Select. Man, if you have a bottle of that, that's probably pretty sought after stuff. Scotch Comic, what's up, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming in. Whiskey Crusader says, we got screwed, man. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I got a bottle of the Little Book 3 for him, but apparently after I got it, it became way cheaper everywhere else. All right, so next, I think we're going to have a new secondary market. I don't know where it's going to pop up. I don't know where it's going to stem from. But I think this year, with Facebook shutting more and more down and it being a little bit harder to get, I think somebody's going to create some kind of universal, big-time secondary market. You know, the one secondary market to rule them all. You know, if you want to go like Lord of the Rings style. I think that's going to happen in 2020 as well. I'm not sure who's going to be an admin or even try to do that, but I think somewhere down the line that could happen. I think we're going to have our first CBD-infused whiskey. So CBD oil, popular item throughout the country now for the states that have legalized marijuana in dispensaries. Somebody's going to do it. I think we're going to see it in Colorado first, coming out of Colorado somewhere. They're making some really great whiskey in Colorado. So I think we're going to see our first CBD-infused whiskey somewhere. Now, what I'm curious about is the science behind it. Does the alcohol effect and the CBD oil effect, how does the science work? What does that do to a person? So I think they'll do their due diligence or maybe just add a drop or two. But I think that's going to come eventually. I think somebody is going to do that this year with the amount of dispensaries that's coming out. I missed some comments here. Let me go back, guys. Richie Z says, I'll try to get more. Whiskey Crusade, it's all good. I appreciate it. No problem, man. Aaron C. Weller, everything doesn't make it to Arizona. Yeah, I heard Arizona's kind of a dried up city for Weller. Scott says, yeah, you're going to be the secondary market. Hell no, I do not want that job. Especially if I'm not getting paid for it, man. That is too much work. Let's see, Scotch Comic, I just picked up Old Forester Rye, excellent value. Absolutely, was my top value of the top value whiskey of the year. Whiskey Throttle says, oh my God, I think Canada will be first. Oh, you think Canada will be first? Okay, could be. Hey, Scotch says, Dummies in the house. What is up, Scotty? Thanks for coming in. Tom R says, maybe a Weller 420 bottle. That's brilliant, yes. Whiskey Crusaders, at the bars here, lots of places had CBD now. Yeah. I mean, when I was in Colorado, you could walk into like just a gas station and they have it at the counter. I think it's everywhere. Scotch for Dummies, what are your thoughts on the tariffs? So, I mean, me just being in New York, I was there and I talked to the store that I deal with and their prices are about to shoot up probably in the next, I think they said it at that time, they said like 2 or 3 weeks, all their stuff was going up about 25, 30%. I believe for some stores, because talking with them, they think that that will disallow them to bring more of a selection into their store. So they have not a huge selection, but they have a decent selection of great Scotch whiskeys. I actually picked up a bottle of Glendronach 15 there for like $80. It was a steal. But she said bottles like that and other bottles that will be too expensive for them to bring in, that they don't make too much of a margin on, is going to be probably the challenge. So for me, I would look for some of the smaller stores that maybe are used to getting a lot of Scotch there that have good selections. Maybe that selection kind of dwindles down a little bit, and they focus on the ones that they could probably make more of a margin on to make some more money. Because the tariffs are coming, unfortunately, and I think it's going to affect a lot of the smaller stores. The bigger ones, like Total Wine and Liquor Barn, and ones like that, I'm not sure how it's going to affect the big guys. I'm sure it'll affect them somehow, but I think they're able to make some stuff again on some of the wine and some of the other things that they could probably make up that margin. Also, another thing that they said at the liquor store is they'll try to maybe mark up some other things to make up for the loss on the Scotch. So maybe the wine prices will go up slightly, so they could maybe bring the Scotch prices down a little bit. So there'll probably be some tug of war within each store to see what's going to go up and what's going to go down. But yeah, there'll definitely be a buying effect. And I think it's going to affect us as consumers as well, unfortunately. Okay, let's see here. Scotch Test Dummies. Oh, he's saying hi. Yeah, tariffs coming, of course. My last prediction for 2020 is the rise and fall of craft distilleries. Spoke a little bit about this on actually, we did the amazing live stream on the Scotch Test Dummies channel over the break with Daniel. Liquor Hound, the legend, was on it as well. Chad and Sarah were on it, and obviously Jeremy and Rob from Whiskey and the Sick. So we had a damn good crowd kind of talking whiskey and some of the subject and what's going to be happening. We talked about this, about the rise and fall of craft distilleries. We had over 1,800 craft distilleries now in the United States. I think this will be the year that we're going to separate the men from the boys a little bit. We're going to find out who has the sustainability to keep things, to keep innovating and make whiskey and make great quality whiskey. And then the ones that kind of just did it because they had the money to do it and they just wanted to open a distillery because it was the cool thing to do. I think those will be the ones that might fall by the wayside a little bit. So it'll be curious to see like where those small ones and just separating the men from the boys, if you will, to see which ones stay around and which ones kind of fall by the wayside. So those are my whiskey predictions for 2020. Let me know what you guys think. Let's see. Greg Whiskey's got, hey, what's up, Greg? Great live with Chris indeed. Yes, Ben Demon Hunter's in the house. I still need to watch all the New Year's Sunday live streams. All right. Hey, Monica Wilson's in the house. How you doing, Monica? Nice to see you. John Hendricks, I just saw you in the chat. Thanks for coming in. I think I said hi to Emily Chambers. All right, awesome. All right, guys, so let's go into some of my, whatchamacallits, I guess my honorable mentions for my whiskeys of the year. Ones that I had in my blind tasting but didn't quite crack the top 5. I won't mention my top 5 again in case none of you have watched it, but I'll tell you ones that didn't make it but were in the running. One of them was WB Saffel from Wild Turkey. This was part of the Whiskey Baron series. And the only reason why this one was so successful is because this was the one that Eddie Russell decided to be a part of. If you guys aren't familiar with the Whiskey Baron series, that's the ones called Bond and Lillard, batch 1 and 2. You also had, what was the other one that released? I forgot the name of it. But this was easily the best of the bunch. It wasn't, they weren't, oh, Josh Embry's in the house, John Turner, more people coming in. Got 144 in the chat. Awesome, guys. Let's see here. All right. So as I was saying, because those weren't doing too good, they asked Eddie Russell to help them out a little bit. And so what he did was blended this amazing blend from this actually wild turkey stuff, wild turkey juice, and it's just delicious. Monica Willits comes in with a $4.99 super chat. Says, sorry I'm late. Love what you do. What does it take for you to do a Jaeger bomb? A Jaeger bomb. If I had Jaeger, I would. You know what? I'll do that for next week. I'll buy some Jägermeister and I will do a Jaeger bomb. I probably would do it cheaper than $100, but I'd do one. Actually, you know what? You know what I'll buy? I don't know if you guys know this whiskey. It's a whiskey that I drank in college. You know, because I was a girl and I didn't know anything about whiskey. Does anybody know Black House? What Black House is? It's like that blackberry schnapps. That stuff, I drank so much of it, like the look of it, like makes me sick. So maybe next week I'll buy that, and for the right super chat, I'll do a shot of it and hopefully not throw up on camera. So WB Saffel was in the running. It's only a 375, unfortunately, and it's about $50. But if you're a Wild Turkey fan, this is an unbelievably great bourbon. Next up that was in the running was the Maker's Mark RC6. I know a lot of people really love this, and I did too. I was a huge fan of this one. Just against those other ones that I had in my the top 5, it just didn't have enough for me. It was almost there. This actually came in. This one came in. Let's see. Out of the 10 I blind tasted, Saffel came in 7th, I believe. This one came in 8th. So yeah, it was. If I sent a couple samples of this out, and a lot of people love this. It's an absolute, like a juicy fruit bomb. It's so good. Michael Isaac, what about 50-50 Jaeger and mellow corn? Oh my God, dude, that would kill me. Richie Z, I remember all kinds of schnapps back then and Goldschlager. Oh my God, the Goldschlager with the little pieces of foil in it. That stuff would kill you. Okay, so next up in my, what came in number 6, which just missed the top 5. We spoke about it earlier. And that was the Little Book, The Road Home, the Little Book 3. This one almost made it in there. I mean, it missed by a slight margin. But this was an absolute great bourbon. Really loved it. The only thing I'll say about this one is I loved this bottle at first. Now that it's down about halfway, all those flavors just went a little bit flat for me, and I was kind of disappointed, and I think that's what happened. I think if this was like a brand new bottle and I did it in a blind tasting, I think it would have done real good. It would have done really, really good. It might have cracked the top 5. But after it got some air in it, it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of went a little bit flat. So, all right. What should we open, guys? Let's try first. Let's go with the Baker's, all right? Let's do the Baker's 7-year single barrel. I have not had this yet. We're going to compare it with the Baker's small batch and see how it compares. So let me get 2 glasses here. Monica Wilch, yeah, Booker's 30th is amazing. It is. You know what? I was thinking about putting that in, but that actually technically released in 2018 at the end of the year. So I didn't put it in there, but yeah, that one would have been up there. But I just happened to get it late because that's when I was able. I didn't get it until 2019. All right, so let's pour the Baker single barrel. Let's get a little pour in here. I gotta say that the Baker's new bottles, I mean, these are beautiful. I love this bottle. It's gorgeous. I don't know what you guys think about the bottle. I think it's a beautiful bottle. All right, so this is the Baker's single barrel, and now we're gonna pour some small batch next to it. D.H. Sill, let the secret out, down home. Oh, yes. So I'm sitting quietly at home the other day, and on my Discord, I have D.H. Sill, Dustin in the chat. Hold on, I gotta... he tells me about this bourbon right here, which is called Down Home. If any of you haven't heard about this one, check out Scott on My Bourbon Journey. I believe he reviewed batch 1. This is batch 2. This was $110. This is a 12-year-old cask strength, 113.2 proof bourbon. Now, this is sourced bourbon. They source it from Barton. So this is Barton juice. I'd heard really good things about batch 1, especially from Scott. And then D.H. Silva just kept going on and on and on about this one. So I decided, you know, I trust Dustin. Let me go try it. He definitely likes things a little bit more oaky, on the oakier side. You know, when we kind of hang out and have like tastings, he definitely likes that oak profile. But this is absolutely delicious. This has one of the longest finishes I've had in a long time in a bourbon. It's really, really great. If you like Barton 1792, that profile, even though it doesn't really taste like it, it doesn't drink hot at all. It's just sweet candy. It's really, really delicious. This is Down Home. I'll show you the label. I'm not sure what the distribution of this is, guys, unfortunately. I have seen it in Kentucky, and I have seen it in, I did see it in Tennessee, I believe. So, all right. What did I miss here? My Bourbon Journey, maybe doing a live stream next week. Karen before, just poured the new Baker's, great nose. Okay, we're about to do that. Ron's wood turning shot. What's up? Any of you guys ever tried the Saint from St. Augustine Distillery? It is fantastic. I tried a single barrel from St. Augustine a while back on the channel. I wasn't that crazy about it. It smelled like Florida to me. But I know there's a lot of people that really like that stuff. I just had a bad single barrel. I would like to try kind of the core line. I'll definitely try more of that. Monica Willis, get the Prisoner from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Oh yeah, I definitely got to seek those out. I'm definitely a huge fan of Bardstown, what they're doing. I'd buy the new Baker's bottle just to use it as a decanter. That's what Greg said. Yep. Okay, let's go into the nose on the single barrel. Let's get some air in here. It's coming out of the glass a little bit tight. Yeah, typical Jim Beam nutty profile in here. It's still keeping that nice Baker's, kind of that fruit characteristic. You're getting a good amount of dark fruits in here. Man, good amount of vanilla extract here. It's very, very sweet. A lot of oak. I'm getting a good amount of oak on here. A lot of oak tannin too. Cinnamon, vanillas. Really nice nose. That just smells like a really delicious, solid bourbon. All right, let's go to the small batch. Oh, the small batch is much lighter. You could see kind of the DNA in here. It's similar, but the Baker's, the single barrel is just a little bit more, it has some more punch to it. Hey, Dram Man, Kentucky's in the house. What is up, man? David Cole says, instead of paying the crazy markups of hard-to-find bourbon, I just buy good scotch now. Still drink ready available bourbon, especially cask strength. I could see that. Yeah, the single barrel has just way more of an amped up nose here. Way more vanillas and caramels jumping out of the glass. I'm just getting a ton of barrel. It's very rickhousey in the glass, which I love. I love that smell of a good on a good single barrel, a good bourbon. It smells like a warehouse, like angel share a little bit. Good amount of cinnamon too. That's nice. All right, let's go in for a sip of the Baker 7. Let me bring the bottle back into the frame here because it's gorgeous. All right, here we go. Oh, damn. Whew. That came in hotter than I thought it would at only 107. That's just super delicious. You let it play on the front of your palate a little bit. You get the oak tannins. It's way oakier than I thought it was going to be at 7 years old. It's extremely sweet. Getting this mix of cherry, orange, this like cherry, orange, cinnamon spice thing going on. It's really nice. I've always thought Baker's to be kind of the fruitier of all the bean products. This one doesn't fall too much into that like peanut butter, peanut brittle category like a lot of the Jim Beam products do. This one seems to have a really nice balance of oak, peanut, fruit, vanilla caramels. Richie Z, when are your Cast 2 coins coming out? Very soon. They couldn't get them to me before the holiday, but they should be here really soon. So I'm hoping to have them the next couple weeks for my next couple live streams. So keep an eye out for my next batch of coins. Bourbon saying, you did mention yours is older than 7 years though, right? This one is 7 years and 9 months old. So this one is almost 8 years old. So, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, some of these single barrels are going to be a little bit older. I've heard some people are getting ones up to almost 9 years old. But then you're going to kind of pick out between getting the Knob Creek single barrel or this. Knob Creek single barrel is 120 proof. This is 107. But what I would say, if you're thinking, oh, I could just get that one for a little bit cheaper, you're right. But I think this has a different flavor profile. I think if you want a little bit of a fruitier aspect to your bourbon, you're going to like the Baker's a little bit more over the, over the single barrels. I think the Knob Creek single barrels have a tendency to be a little bit more oaky, a little bit more nutty. Some of the picks you find some more fruit. But if you're looking for a little bit more of a balance here, I think this one really does the job nicely, at least in this barrel. Remember, these are single barrels, so they could change. YW, why do the bourbon junkies hate Beam so much? I don't know. My guess is because it's probably a little bit too oaky for them. Just watching and knowing Dan and Sean, they tend to like stuff that's way sweeter. So I think that might be the issue, I think. And maybe they don't like peanut butter. I'm not sure. Let's see. Greg Whiskey guys. Okay, my bet is screaming, come on now. So I shall say cheers. Cheers, Greg Whiskey guy. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Let's see. What else is going on here? Oh, Scotch says I'm just talking about Red Spot. Yes. Great Irish whiskey. Caleb, I also get a lot of oak on the non-age stated Knob Creek batch, and that stuff is probably only 5 years-ish. Yeah, I think just Knob Creek, just Jim Beam in general has a way to, they really extract a lot of oak flavors from their aging process. Let's sip the Baker's small batch and get a comparison here. Yeah, definitely lighter. Man, I'm wondering, it's kind of tough because this one here is, it's delicious. And I did wish it was cheaper before it went out. I mean, I know it did go on sale in a lot of places, but this isn't as oaky to me as this one is. It's definitely a little bit lighter, a little bit fruitier. Good amount of vanilla, a little bit more of that kind of that vanilla custard type aspect to it, with maybe a little bit of honey roasted peanuts kind of drizzled on top. But you also get that cherry note, that underlying cherry note that you get in a nice Baker's. This one, yeah, this single barrel just adds like an oak and peppery complexity to it that I think goes really well hand in hand with those fruity flavors. I think if you enjoyed the way this sipped, a little bit easier, a little bit not so oak tannicky or not so peppery, you'll probably miss this one a little bit. But again, these are single barrels, so maybe there are barrels that are a little bit more like this one, but this one happens to be really oaky, but not overly. It's enough to balance out the sweetness, the vanilla, and the flavors. This barrel I have, so this is Let's see, 7 years, 9 months old. This was barreled on February 2012. The barrel, let's see, the serial number on this one is 000145760, Warehouse CL5. So yeah, this is a very beautifully balanced bourbon. I really like this one a lot, so I'm glad I got this one. Maybe I lucked out on the single barrel, but this is really good. It's a really nice bourbon. See, on that third sip now, it got a little bit easier on the back end, but there was still a good amount of oak to balance it out, the sweetness. So yeah, if you guys are a fan of this one, you want a little bit more of an oak presence to it, then yeah, then you'll really like this. If you don't like as much oak in your Baker's bourbons, then you might like this one a little bit better. If you're kind of picky about it, I'm not sure if you could do a try before you buy with this. If you have a friend that has the newer bottle, you could try it before you actually go get one to taste that oakiness of it. Let's see here. Wildlife and Whiskey. Sorry, guys, I'm going to catch up to the chat here. Sorry. Monica Will says it's not $60 worthy. You know what? Probably not. I would agree with that. It's good. I do wish it was a little cheaper on this, though. Because this one's going on sale. If you could find this one around for, I think the cheapest I saw was about $35. For 35, 40 bucks, I mean, this is just an absolute steal. 107 proof, 7 years old. For $60 though for this, it's good, but is it $60, $65 good when you add tax to it? I don't know if it's that good. Remember, you can get Elijah Craig barrel proof. I can get that for 55, 60 bucks, and I'd rather buy that than this. But again, we're in the age of higher prices, more premium type. Everything's a premium offering now. It seems every time they take away a label and they repackage it and they remarket it, it's always more expensive. So I would say as good as this is, you know, you have to kind of go with what your wallet is. If you're used to drinking barrel-proof stuff that you can get at 50, 60 bucks, Stag Junior, Elijah Craig barrel-proof, I mean, heck, even Maker's Mark Cask Strength, if you like that, Jack Daniel's barrel-proof, I'll throw that in the mix. That's all $50, $60. You can get that for the price of this, and those are glorious whiskeys. I would say to drop the 65 on this, you have to be a huge Baker's fan. So as good as this is, I think you have to be a big Baker's fan and Jim Beam fan to really enjoy this, but it is a very good bourbon. I will give it that. All right, guys, let's put this aside. Let's get some water. Let's see, $60. Is it as good as 1920 or ECBP? Yeah, and that's the question, Bourbon saying, Chris, I don't think so. So I think there's your question right there. That's what I meant. Like, you should be, if you're a big Beam and Baker's fan, that'll be worth it to you. But if not, then yeah, it's probably not worth it for you. Blind Whiskey Review, small batch Baker's still at Costco for 30 bucks. Yeah, see, $30. That's crazy. Dram Man, yeah, 1920. That's a great one to throw in there. They skimped on the cap. Yeah, that's what I was when I was talking about this bottle, the Baker's 13. You know what? I'm gonna throw this Baker's 13 in a quick blunt, in just a taste here too, and put that against this single barrel. I thought the Baker's 13 was just flat. And this cork looks like it's going to be metal. This thing's plastic. I know you don't drink the bottle, you don't drink the box that it comes in, or you don't drink the little, the bells and whistles that come with it, but dude, you're charging a premium price, man. At least make some metal shit. Yeah, the 13 is just way oakier. It's really all it is. And that's what I said in my review of it. I just said that it just didn't, besides being oaky, it didn't really warrant enough to... Now, I might be a little bit more pissed off because I paid over MSRP for that bottle when I found it. So I'm probably just a little bit more angry at it. Yeah, the 13 to me is just more oak and a little bit more almond forward, but I feel like you missed the fruit aspects of the regular Bakers, and that's why I wasn't really crazy about it. Maybe it's just the age, on it. Maybe that 13 years is just too old, but I've had Knob Creek picks that are like 15 years old that are way better than that one. So, I don't know, but again, it's a single barrel. I could have gotten a bum barrel. I know a lot of people like that Baker's 13, but for me, that one was a miss, unfortunately. Dark meat chicken, rare breed. What did I miss there? Rare breed over Baker's and Old Forester 1920. Rare breed definitely over Baker's. Over Old Forester 1920 though, rare breed. I think you could go either way with that. I think it depends what mood you're in. There are some nights I just want a nice turkey, and there are some nights I want that bite and that chocolate cherry that Old Forester 1920 brings. You really can't go wrong either way. I think it just depends on what mood you're in. Because honestly, those two bourbons are kind of like daily sippers for me, so I really like that one. So salty on the bottle topper. Yes, I am. I'm very salty. Let's see here. We have Peter White, the Blind Whiskey Reviews. You should make a t-shirt that says, just make some metal shit. I might make a t-shirt, yeah. Steve Sussman says, I have a Russell's pick from K, and it is so good. Oh, K's a great warehouse. Absolutely. Scott says, Dummies, what was MSRP on the Baker's 13? It was, I think MSRP was supposed to be about $100, $120 for that one. But every time I saw it in the store when I was in New York, I saw it for $200, $250. I didn't buy it for that, but I bought it for $150. And I don't know. Obviously I'm a little salty about it still. Whiskey Throttle 13 is a ripoff up here, asking $2.99 a bottle. That's more than Ontario. Dude, that's nuts. Hell no. Let's see. DH12, I thought the Baker's 13 is a nice sipper, but no way I'd pay MSRP. Don't have any. Wow. Didn't have any. Wow. Yeah. It is a nice sipper. It's a great sipper, but I think for what it was, I just wasn't crazy about it. Dram Man says, screw it, I'm drinking OGD for 27. Hell yeah, man. Whiskey Crusader says 1920 over rare breed. Those are fighting words, man. The turkey people are going to kick your ass. All right. Oh, Blind Whiskey Reviews is asking, would you guys rather have a bottle of Four Roses LE or Old Fitz 15? I haven't had the Old Fitz 15, but I've heard amazing things about it. It's always hard to kind of go from a wheater to a rye-based whiskey because they are very different, especially to me. It just depends on what you like. But the Four Roses LE to me was just ridiculous. So this year, and you know why? A lot of people were kind of asking me like, how could you pick that over a BTAC, or how could you pick that over some of the other amazing stuff you had? And I'll tell you why. This is the reason. When you go back to BTAC, when you go back to the William Ruweller, for instance, that was my second place. Whenever I went back to that, it was consistently delicious. It was always that sweet, delicious candy. I equated it to Pillsbury toaster strudel. I equated it to vanilla icing and cherry and strawberry jam, and it just being so delicious. And it was like that every time I went back to it, which isn't a bad thing. I'm a stickler on consistency when it comes to whiskey. I want it to taste the same whenever I want to go back to that whiskey. I want the finish to be the same. It doesn't always happen. It's kind of rare that it does, but the good ones do stay consistent. The reason why I picked the Four Roses over it is because whenever I went back to it, because I think the mingling and the different recipes that are mixed in there, every time I went back to it, it was delicious in a different way. it still had the same consistent finish to it, which is what kind of drew me. But one time I'd go to it, I'd get cherry and orange. Another time I'd go to it, it'd be a little bit more spearminty, a little bit more cinnamon forward, more baking spices. It was like this ever-evolving experience. And I just think that had to go in part with some of the blending and kind of the alchemy that Brent Elliott does when he's mixing all these different recipes together. So that was kind of my reasoning why I picked it. Yeah, sometimes in a blind, maybe I would pick William LaRue Weller over it. But I'm looking at it from a aspect of the artistry of it as well. The blending that goes together, the thought and the process that went into it, and all the different flavors that mixed up in there to go along with that consistent finish. So that was really why I selected it. Monica Will says, oh my God, I need to send you my bottle pics. Yes, please, Monica. My bourbon journey, that's one of the best things I love about Four Roses. Yeah, exactly. So, and they do it, better than most people I know. So, all right, guys, so let's go to the big boys. Here we go. We're going to open up the Elmer T. Lee 100-year tribute. So get a look at that beauty, guys. Let me show you it next to regular Elmer T. Lee. You can see the color difference here. So you can see this one's slightly darker. So again, this is single barrel. But this comes in at 100 proof. The regular Elmer T. Lee single barrel is coming at 90. So what I've done is, I can't believe I'm opening this bottle. So what happened in New York when I went there, I went into a store that I knew had higher prices. Most places in New York do. They have way upcharged prices for a lot of their whiskeys. Oh, JKD, man, why no Weller Full Proof in Best of 2019? That was in my top 10, but I didn't get a chance to really try it enough to warrant me putting in the top 5. When I did my channel review of it, it was, I borrowed that bottle. One of my, a viewer, Michael Klein, who's an amazing guy for even letting me borrow it, let me borrow it. I got to try it that one time. I didn't get enough time to really spend, and I said that in the beginning of the video, like if I didn't have a lot of time to spend with it and sit down with it to see how it evolved, how it changed, if it stayed consistent, I wasn't going to really put it in there. So I didn't want to throw it in just to throw it in. But it did live up to the hype, though, I will say. Weller Full Proof is definitely a step above the other Wellers. So when I found this bottle, I went to a store that I had mentioned has already upcharged prices. So they have a back room of, why the hell is this so fucking hard to open? Sorry, guys. I thought this was a pull tab, but apparently that's not the case. I'm just opening it randomly. There we go. Okay. So they have this this back room where everything is allocated, or their allocated stuff is back there. And I went back there, and they had some really good bottles. They had the Old Fitz 13. They had some BTAC back there. They had a bunch of different Wellers back there. They didn't have Full Proof. They did have the Antique. They had a CYPB for like $800 back there. Just crazy prices. And then they did have Elmer T. Lee back there, regular Elmer T. Lee. So, and then kind of mixed in, so they had the Elmer T. Lees like lined up like this. Kind of like lined up. It was like boop, 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 boop. And then all of a sudden I see this one kind of mixed in. 100-year tribute. I'm like, you have Elmer T. Lee. I'm like, okay. So they had regular Elmer T. Lee priced for $200. Now, any day of the week, I am not paying $200 for Elmer T. Lee. But this one, which I saw in New York and a few places, they had this one priced at about $800. So I was like, Jesus, no way. So I casually grabbed this one, and I say, I'll grab an Elmer T. Lee. How much is this one? And they're like, let's go up and scan it. So he takes it, scans it, boop, $200. I was like, yeah, I'll get an Elmer T. Lee. It took every ounce of my body not to like jump for joy, like thinking, holy shit, I'm getting this bottle for $200, because it's so upcharged and so hard to find everywhere else. So I basically bought it and I ran out of there as fast as possible before they realized what they had done. So, all right, this is what we're gonna do. Elmer T. Lee 100, Rock Hill Farms, and regular Elmer T. Lee. So we're gonna pour this in here. This is the Elmer T. Lee 100. All right, I haven't nosed this. I haven't tasted it yet. I'm just gonna pour some. Holy shit, it's liquid gold. All right, I'm gonna pour that in there. Regular Elmer T. Lee, we're gonna pour in here. Dram Man, gotta keep that poker face, exactly. DH Silva excited. Yeah, I was excited to pay only $100 over MSRP, especially when I sold it in New York for $800 in 2 stores. This bottle, $800. Are you shitting me? No. And I got some Rock Hill Farms right here to throw in the middle glass. Howdy Whiskey. It's nice when we find or get a break on the juice we love. Yeah, and it's... You know what's funny is I went there and I did not expect to even see this anywhere, and the fact that they just had it sitting there and priced at $200, I was like, I can't really say no to that. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll just take this off your hands. You have a lot of Elmer T. Lee back there. I'll just take it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna walk out the door, put it in my car. Just get it out of your store. You have more shelf room. Let me just get one for you. It's great. It's great. It works out for everyone. So, all right. So I'm going to mix these up around a little bit here. I'm going to look at the chat while I'm doing it, so I can't follow where the hell this is. Where it is. I should have sent you the 93 ETL. That would have been cool. Scott says dummies. I've never seen it on a shelf and would give 200 for it too. Yeah, exactly. I mean, being so rare, you kind of have to. You just didn't. You wouldn't think you would find one. All right, the Oak and Smoke. Nope. Let's see. You honestly did. I did, Chris. I did the guy a favor. All right. All right. So let's go through these real quick and let's see how the Elmer T 100 shakes out against Rock Hill Farms and regular Elmer T. Lee. So. Yeah, this definitely smells like Buffalo Trace. A lot of buttered pecans in here. Vanilla. Very, very, getting a ton of corn on here. Very corn forward. Master Drum, the store I was in yesterday, years since, the store I was in yesterday had Rock Hill Farms for $99. Should I grab one? It's been several years since I finished my last one. I miss it. For $100? I don't know. I'd probably pull the trigger for $100 because you just don't see it often enough. It's like anything with Buffalo Trace, but then it's like, then you think to yourself, oh, am I feeding into the Buffalo Trace marketing machine and just buying shit because I'm never going to see it? That's the thing I always think about. Scotch Test Tummies, he says, to help pay for the Elmer. $10 super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Let me give you a blooper. Here we go. George Remus was born in Germany in 1876. As a preschooler, he came to the U.S. with his family in Chicago. His father became a... Okay. Hope you enjoyed that one. Okay. David Cole says, rare bourbon is so hard to find in East Tennessee. You have to know someone. I just want a bottle of Elijah Craig barrel proof or Weller full proof. David Cole, I could probably help you with a barrel proof because I have so many damn ones. Yeah, 180 I probably wouldn't get it for. And that's the other thing. Master Drum, yes, you're buying into their hype, but what can you do? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, oh, I don't want to buy that because it's overpriced. But you know what? Rock Hill Farms for $100 is not that bad. I mean, you see it in Kentucky for $200, $250. For $100, I mean, if you're never going to see, you don't know when you're going to see that stuff again. So I don't know. I'd probably pull the trigger. If I didn't own a bottle, I would get it. The fact that I own one, if I saw it for 100, I probably wouldn't get it. So if you miss it, Richie, go for it. All right, first one. That did not have a lot going on the palate there. Very vanilla, extreme vanilla, very sweet. Not a lot on the finish, easy sipper, slight finish here. Still getting that buttered pecan note that I love on a Buffalo Trace. Getting a lot of corn on this one, a lot of corn sweetness. That second sip had way more caramel in it. A little bit of oak, little oak tannin. Hint of chocolate I got on that one too, right on the very end. That's interesting. I don't remember that being in an Elmer T. Lee Rock Hero Farms at all. Let's see. Trev Wilson said if people would buy things because they actually enjoy them or buying them because they never see the bottle, maybe they would be on the shelves. People see Weller 107 and clear the shelves. Yeah, exactly. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because I have a theory. How many years do you guys think? Or you think it'll be this year, or you think it'll be next year, or are we looking down the road for 5 years? When do you think the craze for waiting online and standing outside for these bourbons, when do you think that's going to dwindle down and end? Do you think we're close to that yet? Are people starting to get annoyed about it yet? Or do we still enjoy the hunt? Or do you think it's going to dwindle down a little bit? There'll still be that core group of people that you know that wait outside and try to get these bourbons and whiskeys? Or do you think it's just going to grow? I mean, I'm curious to know your thoughts about this. Hey, what's up? Eric Evanson's in the house. How you doing, buddy? We have 187 in the chat, man. That is, I think that's a record. Cheers to all of you. Thanks so much for the support. This is amazing. Charles Ashworth saying 5 years. Steven Sussman says 2 years. Okay. Says Jason, Oak and Smoke. Jason, congratulations on the great year that you've had with your channel, my friend. Looking forward to this year, buddy. Cheers. Cheers, Oak and Smoke. Not sure if you're leaving, but if you are, everyone go check out Oak and Smoke Whiskey Reviews. Putting out some more content, man. Spencer Mapp says not close. It's just ramping up. Popularity is rising. I would agree with that. Who the hell stands outside? What a bunch of jabronis. Yes. As long as new people come to the hobby, it will continue. I moved on 5 years ago. DH Soul says beer finally became available on shelves. I think 2-3 years it'll be non-pappy B-Tax. Holy shit, 195, 196 in the chat. Whoop, going up. Blind Whiskey Review says it will dwindle. People's collections will eventually get saturated and lose the desire to continue buying the same whiskey. Bourbon Apprentice, what's up, Jason? All no juice for me since Sunday. Back at it tomorrow. Cheers, Bourbon Apprentice. Thanks for coming in, man. Follow the stock market. As long as it's on up and up, whiskey will thrive. When stocks go down, will the craze? That's a good point. Eric Waite, we'll all get tired of whiskey and switch to wine, then my other channel will explode. Eric Waite, you wish. Coco, I'm worried about the tariffs causing issues, but that could make a boom on bourbons and propel crafts options further in the States. That's a really good point, Kilco. I think that could potentially happen as well. I think devout Scotch drinkers might see the prices are getting a little too much, and maybe they might be like, let's try this bourbon thing out for a little while, or some craft whiskey. But we'll see what we see. Phil Percal, what did you pay for the Full Proof? This was my pick, so I actually got a good price on it. But they're selling them at the store for like $250, which is like, I was not excited about that. Monica Willis, what's your live record? I think it's right now, 190, almost 200. I think that's my record. So you guys are here for 2020 history. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, second one. Oh, way better nose. Yeah, way better nose. This one has more oak, more cherry. Getting like a grilled peach note on this one. Delicious. Ton of baking spices. This is just like cinnamon and brown sugar. You guys ever get like a, what do we call it, like a pumpkin beer at a bar? And they put cinnamon sugar around the rim before you have it? That's what that smells like. It's like cinnamon sugar on the nose. Man, that's good. Concentrated vanillas. Yeah, they're selling it for $250. It's crazy. But they said it's a one-time deal with the Weller Full Proof. They're going to try to maximize profits, and unfortunately, people are buying it for that price. So, dark meat chicken, I will always enjoy the hunt. Yeah, that's part of it too. It's also part of the FOMO you got to bring in. But yeah, I think Dustin mentioned it before. I'm curious if there will ever be a point where waiting online and trying to get the allocations, or will people end up getting wise that Pappy is just not worth the type of hunt that it is? And will we ever see it a little bit more available than it is now? I don't know. I still think we're pretty far away from that, unfortunately. Iron Horse Sex said, I can't take the craft craze. There is a local brewery that is selling craft seltzer. Isn't that just bubbly water? Yeah, basically. They're probably trying to get in on the, like the Truly and the White Claw game. That's really what it is. I'm wondering if there's going to be a White Claw version of whiskey that comes out. You know, something along that line to get to introduce people to whiskey, like hard seltzer. What do you think? Could happen. 193. Can we hit 200? Come on, guys, help me out. Hey, what's up, DJ Beacon? Man, this has a way better nose than this one. This one's a little bit flat. This nose is awesome. Let's go for a taste. Cheers. Oh, way better on the palate. This one has the great balance of sweetness, oak, spice, the butter pecan, the cinnamon, the brown sugars. Everything's working together really nicely in there. Some good corn sweetness, but not as bright as in this glass right here. This one's just a little bit more rounded, more full-bodied, more full flavor. Really nice. Ooh. It's got like this really nice roasted almond flavor on there too. Honey. This one's really evolving. My goodness. Howdy Whiskey comes in with a $9.99 super chat. Says, really enjoy all the content you put out. Keep up the great work and hope 2020 will be even better. Me too, man. And thank you so much for all the support and for watching the channel. I really appreciate it. And for you, I'm going to give you another blooper. Here we go. His practice soon became very busy defending bootleggers. What's a bootlegger? Okay. That's one of my favorite ones. Monica Will, it's okay. You need more super chats. Yeah, this one is definitely way over the first one. This one's the leader in the clubhouse so far. Whiskey New Jersey at Bourbonside mentioned having a Four Roses 2019 limited on the way, and Jason just picked that for his Whiskey of the Year. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Spoiler alert, that was my Whiskey of the Year. Dark Meat Chicken, just so many choices out there. I'm not going to hunt Pappy, but rather something like Stag Jr. or the ECBPs. Right now, I'm looking forward to the new Larceny Barrel Proof and Rare Breed Rye. Absolutely. Those are two releases I'm really looking forward to. Joseph Brazo comes in with a $5 super chat. She says, Monica told me to. Yeah, see, Monica, you should have told him to super chat like $1,000. See what would have happened. Here we go. Here's a blooper for you, buddy. Now, while in prison, George Remus told another inmate that his wife had his power of eternity. Little did he know, eternity? All right. So second one, leader in the clubhouse. I'm not really sure what this is. I would guess that this is the regular Elmer T. Lee, just based on how different it was from this. But let's go into this one, see what we get here. Oh my gosh. That is way different. Cap and make it happen. I submit buttlegger to be the new term of the whiskey community for secondary flippers for mad profits. Hell yeah, man. Steven Sussman comes in with a $5 super chat. He says, gotta do it because Monica. Oh, Monica, I'm going to have to send you some royalties. Here's a blooper for you guys, another one. So first up is a mixer. Now for this one, I feel like it has to be affordable, flavorful, but not overpower a cocktail. For this one, I am choosing this. That actually scared the shit out of me a little bit when I first put it on. I forgot I dressed up in that damn bunny suit for the Christmas whiskey episode. All right, let's go on this one. Here we go. Scary Peeper, why do you not have any live bloopers? Holy crap. This is, I'm getting just pure maple syrup on this one. It smells like maple syrup, which is very different than any other. You don't get that a lot for me, especially with Buffalo Trace. Yeah, everyone's losing it with the fluffy bunny. Yeah, it was crazy. Man, I'm getting some rich, I mean, this is rich caramel and maple syrup on the nose. These are all so different. This one already is eliminated because it's nowhere near these two. Whiskey Crusaders. My wife just walked by and said, are you wearing a fucking bunny suit? I did. All for you guys, man. Man, this nose is between these two. This is more classic bourbon, a little bit more of that classic Buffalo Trace. This is different. This is just a little bit more maple syrupy. This is more dark brown sugars, like that. I mean, this is just really, it's really concentrated on the nose here. It could be Rock Hill. I haven't had Rock Hill in a while. Man, I am getting a little bit of that pecan note, but it's the maple syrup note that's throwing me off a little bit. So let's go for a taste of this one. I'm super excited. Here we go. Cheers. This one, it's super sweet. Very sugary, cinnamony. This one kind of like tastes like this one did like on the nose, but this one I'm getting it on the palate. Getting a lot of cinnamon, a lot of sugar. Still getting a little of that maple syrup aspect to it. Oh man. It's really nice in the nose. This is really, it's very amped up Buffalo Trace flavors. The second sip, though, really smoothed out. It didn't really bring a big finish, but it's still like just sugary sweet. Let me have a sip of number 2 real quick again. Man, I don't know. I love the sweetness of this one. It's just different. It brings a different type of flavor profile to Buffalo Trace, I think. It's a little bit more maple syrupy. Monica Wilson, next year you need a new costume. I'll try. This one has a lot of just like amped up sweetness to it. It's super like syrupy sweet. Probably the best mouthfeel out of all of them. This one I think is the best balance. It has the syrupy, it has the sweetness, but it also has a nice kick on the back end. It's got a nice like peppery spice to it. So if you want something just peppery spicy to have that to go along with the sweetness, then number 2 is the one. If you want kind of more of a unique sweetness profile, more of a bit of a maple syrup type aspect to it, then number 3 I think does it. As far as which one I like more, I think the finish on this one is what's selling me, but this one, The nose, you can nose this one for days. It just smells like candy. It's so good. Good night, Scott. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Richie Z, I super chatted you $20 through PayPal, brother. Congrats on your great year. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Richie. Appreciate that. I did not see that. Cheers to you, Richie. I'll give you a blooper. I'm not sure if I've seen this one yet. Let's see. And patients can then buy it at pharmacies. So after studying the Volstead Act and finding this butthole, that was the butthole one. The oak and smoke, my wife loved the bunny suit. Yeah, that thing scared the hell out of me. I forgot that was in there. Let's see. Mouthfeel is the best term ever. It is kind of a good term. I think for uniqueness, I like number 3 the best. I think more as but I think I would only go to this one every now and again. As an everyday sipper, I would probably go to number 2. And this one, it's good, but not as good as these. So I'll rank this one 1, 2, and then 3. So last place was, ETL regular. So this is the regular Elmer T. Lee, regular Elmer T. Lee single barrel. Still very good. Easy sipper, great bourbon. Too bad it's too damn hard to find these days. Now I'm curious if this number 2 is the Elmer T. Lee or the Rock Hill Farms. I do not know. Based on the bite, I'm going to guess Rock Hill Farms. Because since I've never had the Elmer T. Lee Tribute 100 before, I've never smelt that on a Buffalo Trace product before. It's so much maple syrup. So let's go on here. And yes, so this is the Rock Hill Farms number 2. And Elmer T. Lee 100 came in number 1 here in the blind tasting. Very interesting. But the thing is I think with a couple sips, this one just is incredibly smooth. It just goes down so easy. But I think the sweetness factor and the differentiation of the different types of sweet flavors that are in here, I think really is what sets that bottle apart. It's definitely not worth $800, $400. I wouldn't even pay. I'm really happy I only paid $200 for this, because if I paid more, I probably would have been disappointed. But it is a very, very good bourbon. I think the uniqueness for being in the Buffalo Trace family and having so much of that maple syrup characteristic in it is what kind of makes it special. So we're going to give some samples of this away tonight, guys. But before we do that, I want to crack open my pick, because I haven't tasted it since I picked it. And let's see how it came out. Let's see if the flavors all held true and it remains the Kracken. Let me grab my last clean glass, guys. Let me get some water real quick. Here we go. Saw a guy in a bourbon raffle pick the Elmer T. Lee over GTS and WLW a month ago. Blew my mind. What? Oh my God. That's just, a guy like that, you just want to go and like shake him and just be like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Oh, that makes me sad. That makes me so sad, that statement. Oh. Bayou Drams. Mashanddrum now featuring bourbon, bunnies, and buttholes. Yes, that's going to be one of my next episodes. Chris Beaton, what's in the house? He's late to the party, but he's here. Still have 182 in the chat, man. Thanks for coming in, everybody. I missed a super chat. We just had a new one come in. Greg Smith, $20.20. Happy New Year. Haven't found a regular Elmer T yet. Love your reviews. Cheers, man. Thank you so much. Cheers to you right here. I'm going to give you another, I think my last blooper here. So first up is a mixer. Now for this one, I feel like it has to be affordable, flavorful, but not overpower a cocktail. For this one, I am choosing this. Oh, that was the same bunny one. I think I have another bunny one. And welcome to this special episode in response to a challenge by a couple of other YouTube. Whoa. Yeah, that was the other one. I'm such an idiot when I review those things. All right. All right, guys, let's open up the foolproof. Here we go. I'm excited. About to crack open the Kracken. We'll be giving away a sample of this also tonight, guys. So stay tuned. Let's see how it came out. So for those of you that have never been on a barrel pick, oh, Bourbon Apprentice, sorry if I missed it, but when did the Kracken come from? Were there rum notes in it or something? No, it was actually salted caramel. It was very salty. So we picked a deep sea creature and we picked the Kracken. Don't forget to send Dan and Sean a sample. Yeah, they'll get a sample. They weren't very nice to me yesterday. They said that I was wrong for picking George T. Stagg 2018 over the 19, I think. But listen, those guys like their bourbon very sweet. And I like balance. So the 2019 Stagg, it was only 116 proof, 114 proof, whatever it was. I want proof and I want flavor in a Stagg. That one was it just was lacking for me. Albeit it was still delicious and easy to drink. But when you think Stagg, you don't think 116 proof, which is why I picked the Stagg Junior Batch 12 over it in a blind twice. So if you like your whiskeys a little bit lower proof and sweet, then fine. Go for the new Stagg. But I was a little disappointed in it. All right, here we go. This is for ADHD Fishing if he's out there. America! Oh yeah, he brought up. Okay, so where is he in the chat? Spencer Mav, birthday bourbon over BTAC. Birthday bourbon this year was one of the ones that just eluded me. I could not get a birthday bourbon this year. You know, I tried many a times to try to get one. My connections said that they would get one, they never got one, or they only got one bottle that went to someone else, or they upcharged it like crazy. So I missed out on that one this year. I know a lot of people really liked it. How do you whiskey? Do you have any King of Kentucky? I don't have a bottle, but DH Sil was kind enough to send me some samples, and it was delicious this year. Absolutely, totally agree. If I had a bottle of it and I got to review it and spend some time with it, probably would have been in my top 5, but I wasn't able to. So, all right, here's the Weller Full Proof. The Kracken, my pick. All right, here's the color, guys. See a nice dark color for the Full Proof. Beautiful golden color. Whiskey Crusader says, I will send a sample along of the Old Forester birthday bourbon for you. Oh, no worries, Matt. I did try the 2019 birthday bourbon twice, and I did think it was very, very good. I did slightly like the 2018 last year. I'm sorry, what is it, the 2018, the 12-year-old. Why? I just think it was more balanced. This year's was very sweet, very maple syrupy, and absolutely delicious stuff. But I loved the balance of 12 last year. I really did. Scott Chestomey says, we've missed out a lot on whiskey just because we refuse to pay crazy prices. Yeah, and you know, Scott, that's a good point because I'm getting much more stingy with what I buy. I mean, if you guys out there are kind of like me, like you just kind of go out and you just start buying every bottle you see, every special release. You know, I do it because I want to review it at some points, but when I'm out there shopping on my own, you know, even stuff that I have on the shelf, if I have 1 or 2 bottles of it already, I'm not buying another one just to get it. But it's not so much a drinking problem, it's a buying problem. It's like you see these limited releases, it's just, yeah, and some of the prices are just insane. So you really kind of have to figure out what's best for you. But as long as people keep buying these bottles at outlandish prices, the longer the prices are going to stay there. As much as we hate it, it's just that there are morons out there that are willing to buy, you know, Pappies for over $2,000 and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. Yes, we're releasing the Kracken. Whiskey Crusaders, I agree, the 18 was better. Yeah. There's too much good whiskey out there at the Mash and Drum. Absolutely, man. There's so much good whiskey now. The craft distilleries are putting out just amazing, amazing whiskeys too. And then you just still have budget bourbons on the shelf. That's my combination of bourbon and budget. Let's hashtag that. It's a budget. It's a budget. That's a budget bourbon together. It's a budget. It's Russell's Reserve single barrels, Wild Turkey Rare Breed, Old Forester 1920. I'm just looking at my shelves over here. Old Grandad 114, Knob Creek Single Barrels, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. There's so many good whiskeys, so much good bourbon out there, so much good whiskey, even in the Scotch world. One of my favorites, Bunnahabhain 12 Year, is $50, and you can find it pretty easily. I mean, with all the different, releases that come out each year, there's great whiskey to be had. As reviewers, we're kind of, we kind of want to buy those and review them for you guys to hopefully tell you whether to save your money or spend more. But yeah, it's kind of it's a delicate balance these days. All right. So on the nose, whew, holy shit, this is proofy. Would a budget scotch be a botch? Yes, it's a botch. Yeah, this is just as salty as I remember it. It still has that salty caramel note, especially up front, which makes me happy because you never know what happens after the fact, if it's going to go away or something like that. But yeah, out of the 4 barrels we picked, this was easily the favorite. Oh, man. Chris Buzalencia says, my garbage disposal has a scotch problem. Oh, not a fan of scotch, I see. So, yeah, I mean, scotch is a whole nother rabbit hole to go down if you get into that along with bourbon like I did. But bourbon will still probably be my first love, though. There's a raspberry jam note on here that I'm getting. And for some reason, the raspberry, like other than like a strawberry or a cherry, is very distinguishable for some reason coming out of this glass. But that salted caramel note is kind of the hero note in here. All right, here we go. Let's taste this, and then we'll start giving away some samples and call it a night, guys. Cheers. Hell yeah. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Dude, that's like, I'm not going to say it's as good as William Lee Weller, but I mean, it's pretty damn close. No, I take that back. Definitely not as complex as William Lee Weller. Not as, it doesn't have the age and the oak to it. Weller is usually around 7 to 9 years old, about. So it doesn't have that oaky complexity like you would get on a William Lee Weller. But the flavor punch is there, and this definitely still has that salted caramel, maybe drizzled with some raspberry sauce on top. So that's probably the best way I could describe it. I'm very, very happy of the way this tastes, and I'm glad it kind of stuck to the flavor profile that we picked. So just delicious, delicious stuff. So let's give away some samples, guys. What do you think? So I'm going to give away 2 samples. I'll give you guys a choice. You could have a sample of the Weller Full Proof or a sample of the Elmer T. Lee 100 Tribute. It is up to you. I know it's a hard choice, but I'll be able to do that for you guys. Xavier Perez says, review Mr. Sam 2019. Ah, Xavier, Mr. Sam. I haven't been able to get a bottle of that. For those of you who don't know what Mr. Sam is, Buffalo Trace releases a bottle called, Mr. Sam. It's a blend of bourbon and rye. It's named after Sam Bronfman, I believe his name was. Now you put me on the spot. I'm going to kind of give you my history chops here. His name was Sam Bronfman, and he was one of the original, I don't know if he was one of the original owners, but one of the original, I guess, proprietors of Seagram's. So the Seagram's company back in the day, obviously that was bought by Sazerac, and now Sazerac owns a lot of those brands. Mr. Sam was one of the special releases that Buffalo Trace decided to release in recognition of Sam Bronfman. So he was kind of a big figure. He had a big thumbprint on a lot of the things that got sold at from Seagram's. He basically, they made this whiskey to commemorate him. I believe it's a blend of Canadian rye and a bourbon, I think. It's cask strength, if I remember correctly. There's a little booklet on the inside that's actually penned and actually written by Mr. Bronfman. He wrote basically, I think he wrote it in 1970, I believe. He wrote it in 1970, and he penned about all the things that happened within the Seagram's distillery, and kind of wrote his story. And that little story comes in the box with Mr. Sam. If I could find one or get a sample, I will definitely do that. So thank you for the super chat. Jeremy Worthen came in with a $9.99 super chat. He says, "Thanks for the content, sir. Really enjoyed the channel. Cheers." Cheers to you, Jeremy. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Cheers. Benjamin Eve says, "With Bakers moving to single barrel, do you think the distillers are catching up with the boom? Is that a harbinger or good things to come?" I definitely think that the industry is catching up to the demand. I mentioned it earlier. That's why I think that's why we're seeing so many releases now. There's so much whiskey aging in Kentucky. You're just going to keep seeing these special and limited releases. They're able to take barrels that have been aging and sitting, and they're like, okay, well, we could spare these barrels. Let's make a limited release out of it. So I think that's definitely happening. Phil Vajel, ETL 100, for the love of God. Bourbon Apprentice, Jason is the most knowledgeable MR-effer in the game. Thanks, man. I try. I'm definitely a nerd when it comes to bourbon and whiskey. All right, last sip of the Weller Full Proof. Yeah, it's good. Definitely, it's not overly complex, I'll tell you that, but it's salted caramel drizzled with raspberry syrup. That's the best way I could describe it. All right, the Kracken, or Elmer T. Lee. So because this was kind of the highlight of the show tonight, we're going to ask him to do some trivia questions about Elmer, Mr. Elmer T. Lee himself. And the first ones who get it right on my chat will get a shot at a sample of either one of these. So let's go to, I have some questions worked out here ready for you guys. What was Elmer T. Lee's middle name? What did the T stand for? And go. Todd Kwarzinski, so is Weller 107 still your fave? It's probably still my fave of the ones that are available to me. There's only 2 available. If I could, I'd have the Weller Full Proof all day, though. The non-chill filtering makes it way... it's a huge difference between the Weller Full Proof and the others. I don't see it yet. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's flying, it's flying, it's flying. I think Chris Evans got it. He spelled it wrong, but then he fixed it. Wait, I gotta go through the chat here, guys, because it was flying. Let me see here. Chris Evans, yes, Tandy. So Tandy was his middle name. It was Elmer T. Lee. So Bourbon Apprentice. So yes, it was Tandy. So Elmer T. Lee was Tandy. So Chris, where'd it go? Tandy. Somebody wrote testicle. Oh my God. You guys are drinking too much tonight. Where is it? Yep, Chris Evans, Tandy. Chris Evans, is that Chris Evans, like, the one that plays, Captain America? Chris Evans, for those of you guys that win a sample, shoot me an email here after the show, themashanddrum@gmail.com. I'll talk to you and we'll figure out what you want to pick, either the Weller or the Elmer T. Lee, and I'll get you a sample out as soon as I can. But congrats to Chris Evans. Good job, buddy. All right, next one. You encourage us. I know. What is a Tandy? I don't know whiskey music. but that was his middle name, Elmer Tandy Lee. So, okay, so let's go to another question. This one ought to be fast and furious. This was an interesting one when I was doing a little bit of research here. So, Elmer T. Lee was synonymous with not only releasing Blanton's, but also kind of saving the bourbon industry a little bit because he came out with those premium bourbons. Most bourbons at the time in the mid 80s when it was released sold for about $10 to $15 for a bottle of bourbon. But Blanton's, when he released it, because it was a premium bourbon, was priced at a certain price, which we would probably love now. Tell me in the chat what the initial price of Blanton's was a bottle. Go. Eric, wait, a tandy is a handy, but with two hands. Oh, Jim Muller, I see, got it. Jim Muller. Jim Muller got it. I wish I could highlight. I can't highlight the chat like I can on StreamYard, but Jim Muller nailed it. It was $30. $30 for a bottle of Blanton's. Yep. So yeah, when Blanton's was first released, and Elmer T. Lee helped save the bourbon industry a little bit and kind of encourage, because remember, after Blanton's then followed Booker's, and then all of a sudden all these premium whiskeys started hitting the market. So so yeah, that's what happened, and so congrats to Jim. Jim, also email me at themashanddrum@gmail.com, and you can figure out what sample you want from the Weller Full Proof or the Elmer T. Lee. So yeah, awesome guys, congrats, nice win, Jim. John Turner, we just got another super chat. He said, helping to set off your ETL 100 cost. Cheers. I appreciate that, John. Thanks so much. Thanks for all the support, guys. That is good shit. Yeah, definitely salty, man. Salted caramel all day. Bourbon Saint says, show me the price book. I don't believe it. Yeah, I mean, $30. It's crazy. So Chris Evans, Jim Muller, email me at themashanddrum@gmail.com, and we will get your samples out to you. And with that, guys, that is a Whiskey Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Thanks for joining me for my first live stream of 2020. Coming up soon, look for my reviews on. I'm gonna do a full review of the Bakers. Gonna do a full review of this one coming up too. Bomberger's bourbon to go along with Shanks. That'll be in one video, both from Michter's Distillery. Also coming up in March, I'm gonna have my my March Madness with all bottled and bond. I'm gonna do a 16 bottled and bond bracket, see which one comes out on top. Got a lot of fun stuff coming up in the new year. February is gonna be my What's on the Shelf month. So I'm gonna be like kind of foregoing everything that's limited and just review bourbons and whiskeys that you could find easily on the shelf, because I feel like we need that at this point. So look for that, guys, coming soon. And as I always say, it is not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Thanks for all the support, guys. Here's to 2020, and I'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Cheers.